Hello everyone. In this video, I will be giving an overview of the lymphatic system. Have you ever wondered why you have this lymphatic system and what is its role? It has to do something with your immune system. Your lymphatic system is a group of organs, vessels, and tissues that protect you from infection and keep a healthy balance of fluids throughout your body. I will be discussing this topic under these learning objectives: the components and its functions, differentiate between the blood vascular system and the lymphatic system, structure of lymph capillaries, and the lymph circulation, location and functions of the lymph nodes. The lymphatic system consists of these following components: the lymph capillaries, the lymphatic vessels, the lymphoid organs, and the lymphocytes. So what is this lymph? In this image, you can see this green colored structure. These are the lymphatic capillaries. The tissue fluid or the interstitial fluid that enters these lymph capillaries is called the lymph. Generally, it is clear watery fluid similar in composition to plasma, with the important exception of plasma proteins. However, the lymph from the small intestine is milky white and it's called the chyle, because it contains large droplets of fat absorbed from the small intestine. The lymph capillaries. The lymph capillaries are microscopic, blind-ended lymph vessels that begin in the intercellular spaces. They form a vast network in the intercellular spaces of most of the tissues of the body. Let's see for the key differences between the lymphatic capillaries and the blood capillaries. The lymph capillaries contain lymph, whereas the blood capillaries are the tiniest blood vessels that contain blood. The lymph capillaries are colorless, hard to observe, whereas the blood capillaries are reddish in color and are easy to observe. The lymph capillary shows the beginning of the lymphatic system, whereas the blood capillaries, it joins the arterial and the venous systems. The wall of lymph capillary is made up of endothelial cells which overlap each other, whereas the wall of blood capillary is made up of endothelial cells but do not overlap each other. Lymphatic vessels. Lymphatic capillaries unite to form these lymphatic vessels. They are thinner than the veins. More numerous valves are present, which gives a beaded appearance to them, interposed by lymph nodes at the intervals. Lymph travels through these tubes called the lymphatic vessels. The tiny lymphatic vessels in your tissues join to form gradually larger and larger lymphatic vessels, a bit like streams flowing into the rivers. They eventually drain into the large vessels called the lymphatic ducts. Lymph from the lymphatic ducts empties into the large veins near your heart to enter your bloodstream. This removes excess fluid around your body. Lymph is pushed when your lymphatic vessels are squeezed by the muscles and by gravity if the vessels are above your heart. One-way valve inside the vessels stop the lymph flowing backwards. How is the lymph formed? We can see here there is a flow chart and also the image which demonstrates the formation of the lymph. When blood flows through these tiny vessels called capillaries in our tissues, about 90% of the fluid moves from the arterial end and returns to the bloodstream at the venous end. The remaining 10% of the fluid does not return to the capillaries, but instead accumulates in the spaces between the cells, which is known as the interstitial fluid. Now the fluid bathes the cells in nutrients and carries away the waste. This is where the lymphatic system comes in action. The lymphatic capillaries, which are even smaller and more permeable than the blood capillaries, they collect the interstitial fluid. Their high permeability allow them to pick up not only just the fluid, but also the larger molecules and particles that blood capillaries cannot. Once the interstitial fluid enters the lymphatic capillaries, it is referred as lymph. The fluid now includes waste products, bacteria, and other debris from the tissues. The lymph is transported through the network of larger lymphatic vessels moving through lymph nodes and that filter the harmful substances. The lymph nodes act as checkpoints, cleansing the lymph of pathogens and foreign particles. After being filtered through the lymphatic system, the lymph eventually returns to the bloodstream. This return happens through larger lymphatic vessels that connect to the veins near the heart, ensuring the fluid and its contents are safely returned to the circulatory system. Factors responsible for the drainage of the lymph through the lymphatic vessels and the lymphatic ducts are as follows. It is due to the contraction of the smooth muscles in the wall of the lymphatic vessels, the pulsations of the arteries around it, the contraction, the massaging action from the contraction of the surrounding muscles, the filtration pressure in the tissue spaces generated by the filtration of the fluid from the blood capillaries, the respiratory movements, and valves within the lumen of the lymph vessels. Now let's discuss the structure of the lymph node in brief. The lymph nodes are oval or bean-shaped bodies that lie along the course of the lymphatic vessels. The lymph passes through the number of lymph nodes, usually 8 to 10, before reaching the larger lymphatic ducts. The size of the lymph node varies from a pinhead to a large bean and somewhat flattened. Group of lymph nodes. Lymph nodes, which are the part of the lymphatic system, are found in groups throughout the body, including the neck, the cervical, armpits, which are called the axillary, chest, which are called the mediastinal, abdominal, para-aortic, mesenteric, and the inguinal region. They are named accordingly. In this image, you can see the distribution of lymph nodes in the whole human body. The large ducts of the lymphatic system. The various efferent lymphatic vessels in the body eventually converge to form two major lymphatic channels. You can see in the image here, the right lymphatic duct and the thoracic duct. The right lymphatic duct drains the lymph from the right upper limb, right side of the thorax, and right half of the head and neck, whereas the thoracic duct drains lymph into the circulatory system at the brachiocephalic vein between the left subclavian vein and the left internal jugular veins. A cisterna chyli, you can see here, cisterna chyli is a dilated sac which serves as a reservoir for the lymph from the lower abdomen. The drainage areas. You can see this image which shows the drainage areas as I had explained in the previous slide. The right lymphatic duct drains the right side of the head and neck, the right side of the thorax and the upper limb, and rest all the parts of the human body are drained by the thoracic duct. The lymphoid organs. This is the image which shows the lymphoid organs like the thymus gland, the spleen, the tonsil, lymph node, and the bone marrow. Mucosa-associated lymphoid tissue. Mucosa-associated lymphatic tissue is a diffuse form of small concentration of lymphoid tissue found in various submucosal membrane sites of the body, such as the gastrointestinal tract, nasopharynx, thyroid, breast, lung, salivary glands, eyes, and skin. They act as a defense against antigens. Here are the examples of the mucosa-associated lymphoid tissue. When it is associated with the gut, it is called GALT. Bronchus-associated lymphoid tissue is called BALT. Nasal-associated lymphoid tissue, conjunctival-associated lymphoid tissue, larynx-associated, and skin-associated lymphoid tissue. So the overall functions of the lymphatic system will be fluid balance and waste removal, fat absorption, immune system support, collecting excess fluid from your body's tissues and returning it to your bloodstream. With this, I come to an end of the overview of the lymphatic system. I hope this video was an informative one. Thanks for watching.